What up? This is Rama Screen, and it's time for another celeb interview. And in the anticipation of Max Cloud, which arrives on VOD and digital platforms December 18th, I'm here talking with the director of this new movie, Martin Owen. How are you, Martin?
I'm good, Rama. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time. So, in a nutshell, this movie is about a gamer in 1990 who
Yeah,
gets literally transported into her own video game, and the hero of the video game is the title character Max Cloud, played by the martial art badass Scott Adkins. So,
yeah.
Martin, how in the galaxy did you come up with this crazy cool concept and idea for this story?
That's a good question. Probably the easy answer is I haven't got a clue. No, but basically it came about. This idea. The first thing that myself and Sally Collett, who I wrote it with, was like this idea of this character Max Cloud, and him and his name kind of came first, and then it was like, oh, that sounds like a video game character, and then and then it just kind of like developed stage by stage, and just kind of, I guess, quite an organic process in terms of the story and the writing. And then once we knew set in 1990 video game, it was kind of like there was so much stuff that I wanted to do, and there's so much stuff that Sally wanted to do. Let's get it down and do it. And then obviously the final movie, the sort of what the script and the movie we shot was kind of, man, it was like ambitious for like the time and the money we had. We're like, oh wow, we need to do so much stuff. And people keep saying you should get rid of this and get rid of this. I'm like, no, let's do it. Let's just do it.
Obviously the story is set in 1990, the dawn of the 90s, so it's still very much influenced by the 80s, not
Yeah.
just the video game but also the hairstyle and the costume. So talk to me about incorporating or applying 80s vibe to this movie. What are some of the things that that you took into consideration?
I think everything. I think I'm heavily influenced by that era. I was born in the 80s and very much, yeah, as I say, it's been always a kind of strong force in my life. So all the movies I grew up with, the video games, and so it was just having that constant awareness of everything. You just say the music, the costumes, even down to the language, everything. And then the video game side was like I used to play so many video games. At the video game part, I didn't find that difficult because it was kind of like when you think of like side-scrolling video games from like the sort of like Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo era, you can like literally close your eyes and think you can picture them. And you're like, okay, so that was all we kind of keep doing. I'm like, okay, so that should be that, and that needs to. So it was quite it was just really fun because for me it was just getting a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do in a film and to get it and put it on screen was just a really great selfish outing. It was brilliant. I had so much fun, and I watched the film, and I'm like, anyone who watches this film and thinks that we're taking ourselves seriously, is out of their minds because it's fun, it's ridiculous, and it's a good 80s influence kind of action sci-fi comedy romp. That's how I describe it.
So I gotta ask then, since you brought it up, and that is also my next question: Who, for the video game of Max Cloud that we see in this movie, who designed it? How long did it take for you guys to design it? And will it be released at GameStop this year for Christmas?
Well, I'll start with how we did it. So basically, we started with like I knew what I wanted the function of each part of the game to be. So we kind of like, okay, this bit here is going to be Max and Jet walking down a corridor. The corridor's going to look like this, and so that's how it started. So we knew what the function was, so that when we came to post production, it wasn't a matter of, oh God, what's happening here. It was like we knew what had to happen because it had to mirror and reflect, and vice versa, what was going on in the live action stuff. So it was then just a process of designing the characters, with the visual effects team, and then it was just it took a long time because basically they've pretty much designed the majority of a video game. So as it stands, there's not a plan to release the video game, but watch this space because I think it's a travesty if there's not a video game released in Max. I mean, it's there, it's been designed,
Oh,
release it.
that's what I want too. So
Absolutely, man.
it looks so cool. As I'm winding down to my final questions, I gotta ask. I'm a big fan of Scott Adkins. He's just a total badass. I mean, his
Yeah.
performance in this movie was so awesome. There's a quality of naivete to him here. So tell me, was Scott Adkins your first choice to play Max Cloud, and why was he the perfect fit for this role?
Scott actually was 100% the first choice.
Hmm.
I'd not met Scott. I'd seen a lot of his films, and it was kind of we wanted someone who was the atypical action movie star. You know, someone who is the epitome of masculinity in a lot of his films, and also obviously Scott's physically incredible what he does. So it was finding someone like that, but who we thought who also has the ability to sort of step back and slightly mock that genre that he and so there was a nervousness of, oh God, is Scott going to hate this? But he immediately got it and totally understood it and totally committed. And for me personally, I sit and watch the film now, and the same things that had me laughing on set, I still laugh at, like because Scott is so committed to his delivery, and it's like just some of the shit that came out of his mouth is just brilliant. It stayed in film. It's just like he's so good because he's not trying to deliver one liners. He's fully committed to the role, and his timing, his comedy timing is. You think he'd done it 1,000 times before.
Yes, my favorite part was when all the other supporting characters already kind of walked away from the frame, and he still does the time for to do a kick. I was like, whoa, that is just so.
Yeah, yeah. He comes out with some great stuff. It's like there's a bit
Ah.
where before we first meet Brock and the ninjas throw the hand grenade thing and they run off and Scott just off his own back just goes, my entire plan has gone to shit. And I was shaking behind the monitor. I was like, oh, this guy's so funny. And it just all those moments stayed in because they were just gold, just absolute gold.
Wow, that is so cool to see that side of Scott. So my final question to you is, what's next on your horizon, and will you be able to do those projects during this pandemic?
Yeah, so I was shot a movie that gets released next year that I was on post production on during the pandemic, which is a modern remake of Oliver Twist,
Hmm.
called Twist. We shot in London, which has got like Michael Caine plays Fagin, Lena Headey is Sykes, and then Raph Law, who is Jude Law's son, plays the title role of Oliver Twist. So we finished that during lockdown. That was quite hard post producing a film during lockdown when everyone's separate. You kind of miss those little nuances and intricacies that you don't realize that are there in a room when you're trying to get things you want them. So we finished that, and then I just started pre-production the last couple of weeks on a movie I'm shooting in February. Again, we're shooting that in the UK, and that you think Max Cloud is ridiculous. Wait till you see what I'm got doing next. This movie is bananas. I can't say much about it, but it's bananas. And it's me stepping into sort of like a weird like horror comedy dramedy. It's just a weird movie. I can't. Do you know what? I don't know what it's going to be till it's finished. Like it's crazy, but I think you'll like it.
All right, can't wait to see that one. For my fans at home, everybody go check out Max Cloud, arriving on VOD and digital platforms December 18th. Martin, Owen, thank you for talking to me, and congratulations, sir.
Thank you, Rama. You're a gentleman.